Walt Disney has agreed to a $7.4 billion deal to buy Pixar, the animation firm behind the films including Toy Story and The Incredibles. The all-share deal will see Pixar chief executive Steve Jobs to join Disney's board director. Under the agreement, 2.3 Disney shares will be issued for each Pixar share. Disney's distribution deal with Pixar was due to the end of this year, and it seemed that the two would split after failing to agree on how to divide the future profits. However, Disney's new boss, Robert Iger, has been working to revive the relations between the two companies.
Hi guys, Assalamualaikum and a very good day to all. My name is Nur Arsha binti Tajaluddin, and in today's video we'll be discussing on the merger between Walt Disney and also Pixar Animation Studios, which is now famously known as Disney Pixar Animation. So without further ado, let's start with Walt Disney's background. So Walt Disney is a company that was founded in October 16th, 1923 by two brothers, Walt and Roy Disney. So Walt Disney is one of the largest media and entertainment corporation in the world. This is because they own 11 theme parks and also several television networks such as American Broadcasting Company and few others. Okay, so Walt Disney only started making films in 1930, and some of their earlier works were Snow White, Pinocchio, and also Bambi. So if you guys notice, Walt Disney's earlier films were actually adaptation of children's fairy tale. They have already started in making their own films, their own original films and cartoons. We will be proceeding with Pixar Animation Studios. So Pixar Animation Studios were actually initiated by John Lasseter and also George Lucas Pixar. They both were actually employees in the computer graphic division, which is owned by George Lucas in Lucasfilm Limited. So in 1986, Steve Jobs purchased the computer graphic division and made it into a independent company named Pixar. So this Pixar was actually co-founded by Dr. Edwin E. Catmull, and on November 22nd, 1995, Pixar Animation Studios, if you guys remember, they launched the first ever Toy Story movie, and from there they have forever impacted the future of filmmaking, because as the movie's Toy Story alone, they had the highest grossing film of 1995 with the value of $362 million. So after the release of Toy Story 1, Pixar and also Disney had come to a five picture 10 years agreement, where they will evenly split the production costs and also the profit of each subsequent movie that will be released in the future. And from this agreement, Walt Disney will retain the rights to the film and also to the characters of the film. And from this agreement, Walt Disney will collect 10 to 15% of each film's revenue as their distribution fee. Okay, next, on the release of Toy Story 2, there had been an ongoing disagreement between Walt Disney and also Pixar Animation. This is because the Toy Story 2 was intended to be released as a straight-to-video release, but then it was upgraded to a theatrical release, which is not a part of the Pixar and Disney deal. But then Pixar, they demanded that the release to be counted as the 5 picture agreement. But then Disney refused from their request to count it as the 5-picture deal and to evenly distribute the profit between the two companies. So from this, from the actions made, from the decision made by Walt Disney, which is to refuse the request from Pixar Animation Studios, there were actually talks of Pixar searching for new distributors, because they were not happy with what Walt Disney did to them. But then with Mr. Iger, who took over the position of Disney CEO, he managed to resolve the conflict between Pixar and also Walt Disney by acquiring Pixar Animation Studios. This is made by making an agreement to buy Pixar for approximately $7.4 billion. And Disney also offered 2.3 shares of its stock for each Pixar's share. And this will lead to a 3.8% premium on Pixar's closing price of 57.57 cents. So the key reasons on why the merger between these two companies was a success is that the investors saw the potential for Disney to leverage on Pixar's computer animated characters to be used in their vast network. One successful example is the movie Cars. If you guys have seen the movie Cars, the revenue from the retail production alone is over $5 million. Next, Pixar's willingness to change so that they could be a part of the international conglomerate also helped to contribute to the success of the two companies' merger. Pixar not only developed new movies, but they also sequeled the original one. Next, the experience of Bob Iger in this field helped the two companies to merge greatly. The companies not only followed the normal tactics for a successful merger, but also came with some different ones, which Pixar created a list of things that will not ever be changed as to preserve its culture. Like Pixar employees, they do not have to sign any employment contract. So lastly, the transformational leadership from Pixar was brought to Disney. This is because Pixar has the ability to lead and motivate their employees in a way that they are easily adapted to the dynamic environment. And Disney saw this as an opportunity and took it and adapted to it and made it as a way to lead the employees in Walt Disney as well.
Doubling down on creativity, Iger saved Disney's ailing animation division by acquiring Pixar. But first, he had to woo Steve Jobs.
How did you get him to trust you with Pixar and this creative brand that he'd helped build?
He must have just seen in me something that he liked and was different. I don't know.
New toys!
He trusted that Pixar would be in good hands at Disney. He used to say that the intersection of liberal arts and technology made his heart sing.
Their friendship helped smooth the way for Iger to make acquisitions many thought were impossible, like George Lucas's namesake, Lucasfilm.
It was a trust, which I was so grateful for. I respect him enormously.
So those are the key reasons on how this merger became one of the most successful merger of all times. So this is, I guess this is all for today. Thank you for watching, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them and I will answer to them shortly. Thank you.